Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this little squid or octopus. For this video, you're going to be needing category 4 yarn. Today I'm going to use this pink color for the tutorial, but you can use any category 4 yarn of your choice. I'm also going to be needing some stuffing. I'm just using this polyfill stuffing. I'm going to use 2 black safety eyes for this project, but if you don't have safety eyes, then you can always just use a darning needle and some black yarn. But again, you're going to need some safety eyes or black yarn, a darning needle, a hook. I'm using a 3.75mm crochet hook, and some scissors. And now that that's all out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. To start off, I'm going to go ahead and grab my yarn, and I'm going to make a magic ring. You can do the magic ring method or you can do the slipknot method, that's completely up to you. But for this tutorial, I'm going to be doing the magic ring method, and I'm going to chain 1. Okay, so I have my magic ring and my chain 1, and now into this magic ring, I'm going to go ahead and make 6 single crochets. So just go ahead and do your 6 single crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once I have my 6 single crochets, since I'm doing the magic loop method, I'm just going to pull on this small strand of yarn and my loop should close. Okay, so I have my 6 single crochets and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the very first one. And that's round 1 with 6 single crochets. To start off round 2, we're going to go ahead and chain 1. And now for round 2, our repeat is going to be doing an increase in each of the stitches all around. So we're going to do an increase in each of the 6 stitches. So that's 1, into the same place, go ahead and do another. We're going to go ahead and continue increasing. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 6 single crochets. Go ahead and continue this and I'll meet you when I'm done. Okay, I'm at the end of round 2. I've done my increases. We have 6 increases in total, so a total of 12 stitches. And now I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into my very first stitch. And chain 1. And now we're on round 3. For round 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 1 increase all the way around. So again, we're doing 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 6 times around. And at the end, we should have a total of 18 stitches. So again, 1 single crochet into the next stitch. We're going to do an increase, which means we're putting 2 in 1 stitch. Okay, so go ahead and repeat the pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 increase all the way around until you get to the very end. And again, you should have a total of 18 stitches. Go ahead and continue this and I'll meet you when I'm done. Okay, I'm here at the end of round 3. I have 18 stitches, and now I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch and chain 1. And now we're on to round 4. For round 4, our repeat pattern is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase all the way around. Again, that's 2 single crochets and an increase all the way around until you get to the very end. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 24 stitches. Feel free to pause the video and I'll go ahead and meet you when I'm done with this round. Okay, I'm here at the end of round 4. I have a total of 24 stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into my very first stitch and chain 1. And now what we're going to do is we're not going to do any more of the increases for the next round. So we're on round 4 right now. We finished round 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We just completed round 4. And now for rounds 5 and 6, we're just going to do 2 rounds of single crochets. So we're not going to do any more increases or anything like that. For this round, round 5, we're going to do single crochets. And for round 6, we're going to do single crochets. So that's 2 rounds of single crochets without any increases. So go ahead and do those 2 rounds of single crochets, and I will go ahead and meet you when I'm done. Make sure that you keep a stitch count of 24 because you don't want any more or any less. we are just doing 2 rounds of single crochets. Go ahead and repeat that for 2 rounds, and I'll go ahead and meet you when I'm done. Okay, so I've just finished round 6. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off with a slip stitch and chain 1 as always. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and go over what we have so far. So we have 6 rows that we have completed. The first round was 6 single crochets, the second one was a round of increases, the third one was 1 single crochet and 1 increase all the way around, the fourth one was 2 single crochets and an increase all the way around, and then rows 5 and 6 were just regular single crochets, keeping a stitch count of 24. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to round 7, which is another increase round. So I've already slip stitched and chained 1, as we do for each of these rounds. And the repeat pattern for round 7 is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase all the way around. So that's 3 single crochets and an increase all the way around until you get to the very end. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 30 stitches. Go ahead and pause the video, and I will go ahead and meet you when I'm done. I just finished round 7, and I have a total of 30 stitches. Go ahead and finish up round 7 by slip stitching into the very first stitch and chaining 1. And now we're going to go ahead and get back to our single crochet rounds. We're not going to do any more increases for the rest of this pattern. So for rounds 8 through 11, we're just going to go ahead and do continuous rounds of single crochet stitches, again ending off with a slip stitch and chain 1. So again, that's rounds 8 through 11, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, that's 4 rounds of single crochet stitches. So just go ahead and do 4 rounds of single crochet stitches until you reach round 11, keeping a stitch count of 30. Feel free to pause the video and I will go ahead and meet you when I'm done. Okay, so I've just finished round 11. I did my 4 continuous rounds of single crochets, keeping a stitch count of 30. And now to finish off this round, we're going to once again slip stitch into our very first stitch. And we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to go ahead and loosen up our yarn, because now we are going to go ahead and put on the eyes and sew our mouth. And I'm going to go ahead and get the materials for that now. Okay, so I have my safety eyes. Like I said in the beginning of the video, you don't need safety eyes. You can just use some black yarn. The yarn that I'm using isn't category 4 yarn because I ran out of the category 4 yarn, but this one works just as well. It's a little thicker. I used the same one for the original piece, which I think it turned out fine. So if you don't have safety eyes and you want to use black yarn for both the eyes and the mouth, you can do that. All you would have to do is bring your darning needle through the inside of your piece and bring it through your stitches like so. And then once it's through one of those stitches, you're going to bring your darning needle through the stitch right below it and pull it through. And then all you would do is you would tighten it up on the inside with a few knots, and then you would have one of your eyes, and then you would do the other one. But for this video, I'm not going to be using the yarn for the eyes because I have the safety eyes. And for my original piece, I placed the safety eyes in between rounds 7 and 8. If you're using yarn, you can also place your eyes around 7 or 8, which is what I'm going to do right now. So go ahead and count down. For reference, I'm just putting the end of my yarn in the back. So where I slip stitched and chained 1, that's going to be the back part of my squid. So I'm going to be working in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find row 7 and 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm just going to go ahead and place this right in between rows 7 and 8, like so. Okay, and to place your other eye, you're going to want to skip 5 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to place it right there, your second eye. So again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to place it right here along the same row, like so. And you don't have to place them like this. This is just how I wanted to place them. You can place them closer, further apart, whichever one works for you. So once you have those in place, if you are working with yarn, you can just tie it up in the back and cut the yarn. But since I'm using safety eyes, I'm just going to go ahead and get the backs of these, and I'm just going to put them on. Okay, so I've got these safety eyes on, and this is what it looks like. And now we're going to go ahead and grab our black yarn for the mouth. And again, I'm using a thicker yarn just because it's all that I had. You can use the same category yarn if you have it, but I'm just going to be working with this today. Oop. And so to make the mouth, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find our eyes, and we're going to find 2 stitches over. So skip the stitch that's right next to one of the eyes, and then find the one right after. Okay? And then go down a stitch. And then coming in from the inside, bring your yarn through, like so. And then you're going to go ahead and find the stitch right next to where you pulled out your yarn, and the stitch right under that one. And bring your darning needle through. Okay? And now you're going to find the stitch right above where you just brought it through, and then go left another stitch, and we're going to go ahead and go through that little thing of yarn, that little spot from the inside, because that's where we pulled out our yarn, like so. And then we're going to go back through the bottom. Okay. And now you can just go ahead and tie the string from the inside. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, you just need to knot it in place. Okay, and then once it's knotted enough, go ahead and snip off the excess, making sure not to accidentally cut your work. And there you have the face. And now we're going to go ahead and continue with the actual crocheting. Okay, and now we're back, and we are going to go ahead and continue crocheting. For the next round that we're going to be doing, we are going to work in the back loops only. So I finished off my last round right before we did the face with the slip stitch and chain 1, and now we're going to work on the bottom part of the squid. So the repeat pattern for this round is going to be 3 single crochets and a decrease all the way around, working in the back loops only, which I'm going to show you how to do. So just for reference, this is going to be the front loop, and this is the back loop. We're going to be working into the back loops only because we're going to be working in the front loops later on. So go ahead and do your first 3 back loops, single crochets. So working in the back loop only. The first one might be a little difficult to get into. So that's 1 back loop single crochet. That's 2. And then that's 3. Again, working in the back loops only. And now we're going to do a decrease. How I do my decreases is I'm going to insert my hook into the very first back loop stitch, grab yarn, pull through. Then I'm going to insert my hook into the next back loop stitch, grab yarn, pull through. And with the yarn that we've already pulled through with, we're just going to take that yarn and pull through the other 2, like so. I'm going to show you that one more time. Again, our repeat is going to be 3 single crochets and a decrease. So we're going to do 3 back loop single crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. And then to do our decrease, we're going to insert our hook into the first stitch, the back loop only, like so. Grab yarn, pull it through. Then we're going to get to our next stitch, insert our hook into the back loop only, grab yarn, pull through, And that same yarn that we just pulled through, we're going to take it and pull it through the other 2. Okay, go ahead and repeat this pattern of 3 single crochets and a decrease all the way around in the back loops only until you get to the very end. At the end, you should have a total of 24 stitches. Go ahead and repeat this, and I will meet you when I'm done. Okay, I'm here at the end. I'm going to finish off with a slip stitch and chain 1. And now we're moving on to the second round of the bottom part of our squid. And for this round, our repeat is going to be 2 single crochets and a decrease, except this time we're not going to work in the back loops, we're just going to work in them like they're regular stitches. So again, we're just going to do regular stitches, not working in the back loop only, and the repeat is 2 single crochets and a decrease. So 2 single crochets, and to do a decrease, again, just insert your hook into the stitch, grab yarn, pull up, insert your hook into the stitch after it, grab yarn, pull up, and that same yarn that you have already pulled up, you're going to pull it through the other 2. So go ahead and repeat the pattern of 2 single crochets and a decrease all the way around until you get to the very end, and at the end you should have a total of 18 stitches. Go ahead and do this all the way around, and I'll meet you when I'm done. I'm here at the end, and I'm going to finish off with a slip stitch and chain 1, and I'm going to just loosen up my yarn because right now is the perfect time to go ahead and stuff the inside of our squid with whatever stuffing you have. I have polyfill stuffing, but if you have some leftover yarn from other projects, you can use that, or you can just use old pieces of fabric, whichever one works for you, but I'm going to go ahead and use polyfill stuffing. Okay, I've just filled up the squid with the stuffing, and as you work your way around to finish this project, you can continue stuffing if that's what you would prefer. I think it's easier when the hole gets a little smaller so then the stuffing stays inside. So again, you can fill it up as you go. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and continue. For the third round of the bottom part of our squid, the repeat pattern is going to be 1 single crochet and 1 decrease all the way around until you get to the very end. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 12 stitches. Go ahead and repeat the pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 decrease all the way around, and I will go ahead and meet you when I'm done. Okay, I just finished the third round of the bottom part of our squid, and I stuffed it in a little more. To finish off, we're going to slip stitch and chain 1. Might get a little harder to work into because we are nearing the end of it. And then now for the fourth and final round of our squid, we're just going to go ahead and do a decrease all the way around until you get to the very end. You should have a total of 6 stitches. And if your hole is still a little visible, that's okay, because after we're done with this last decrease round, we're going to use our darning needle to sew the rest shut. So go ahead and do your decreases all the way around, and I will go ahead and meet you when I'm done. Okay, I am done. I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch into the very first stitch of the round and chain 1. And now I am going to cut a long strand of yarn. I want to say about 10 to 12 inches. And make sure you only cut it after you finish off with the chain 1, so when you pull on it, it tightens. Otherwise, your work will get undone. So once you have cut your long strand of yarn, go ahead and grab your darning needle and put the yarn through. And now we're just going to go ahead and go back and forth through these stitches, and then we're going to pull on it, and the hole will close kind of like a drawstring bag. So just go back and forth through the stitches, and then give it a pull, and then fasten it off by going through the stitches and knotting it in place. Okay, and then to make sure that it's extra secure, the rest of your yarn, you can just go ahead and bring it through your work and out through one of the stitches on the side. So I went through here, I'm ending up out here, pull that through, and then cut the excess off. Okay? And there we have the little head of the octopus, and now we're going to go ahead and work on the this part of the octopus or squid. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that right now. So we're going to go ahead and start off with a slip knot, and we're going to grab the head. This is going to be the front, this is going to be the back. Go ahead and bring your hook through the stitches that you see. So when we did the back loop stitches for one of the rounds, we see that we have this little front loop stitch sticking out. And what we want to do is we're going to insert our hook through one of those front loop stitches from the back. And once we have our hook in there, take the slip knot that you just made and pull it through that back loop stitch or the front loop stitch. We're working in the front loop now. Once you've pulled it through the front loop stitch, go ahead and secure it by chaining one. And now we are going to go ahead and work on the little bumps. And to do that, in the same place where we inserted our yarn, in that same front loop stitch, what we're going to do is we're going to do one single crochet. Okay? And now into that same exact stitch, we're going to do a double crochet. So we're not moving to the next front loop stitch, we're still working in the same exact one. And into that one, we're going to do a double crochet. So now we have one single and one double. And now once again into that same exact space, we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, we have one of the bumps done. And now what we're going to do is we're going to skip the very next front loop stitch, and we're going to insert our hook into the stitch right after that. So skip the next one, work in the one after, insert your hook, and repeat the exact same thing. Into that front loop stitch, we're going to do one single crochet. Into that same stitch, we're going to do one double crochet. And into that same stitch, we're doing a single crochet. And then again, skip the next front loop stitch, work in the one right after, and into that stitch, do one single, one double, and one single. And that's going to be the repeat all the way around until you get back to the end. I'm going to show you this a few more times. So skip the next front loop stitch, work in the one right after. Into that one, you're going to insert your hook, do a single crochet. Into that same spot, do a double crochet. And once again, into that same spot, do a single crochet. And then skip the next one and work into the one after and repeat. So again, the repeat for this round is you're going to do one single crochet, one double crochet, and one single crochet in one of the front loop stitches. Skip the one after, and then in the one after the one you skipped, you're going to repeat with one single, one double, and one single. Go ahead and repeat this all the way around until you get to the very end, and I will go ahead and meet you when I am done. Okay, I'm at the end. I just finished my last set of single, double, single, and to finish off, I'm going to find the very first single crochet that I made, and I'm going to just slip stitch into that one. Okay, and then I'm going to finish off with a chain one, and I'm going to cut my yarn. Okay, and this is what we have so far. If you want, you can leave it like this because I think that this looks really cute, but if you want, we are now going to go ahead and work on these little bottom parts of our squid. But before that, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and tuck these yarns in, just because when we put in all of these, there's going to be a lot of loose yarn hanging, and I personally just like to work them in as I go, just because there are 8 legs. So I'm going to go ahead and work these in. You can use a darning needle, or you can just take your hook and this is the front, this is the back. I'm going to go through the back of my yarn down to where this yarn is that I want to tuck in. Gonna bring my hook through like this. Then I'm going to grab yarn and then I'm going to just pull it through. It might be a little difficult to work into because you do have stuffing on the inside, and so that might get stuck. So maybe a darning needle would be best, but if you don't want to use the darning needle, then you can always just use your hook and pull it in a little bit at a time. Then once you've pulled it in and it's all hidden, you can just bring your hook through a different stitch and pull it out, like so. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other one off camera. Okay, so I have just hidden the tails, and now we're going to actually work on the little tentacles. So for the tentacles, we're going to go ahead and make a slip knot. And for the tentacle placements, there's no right or wrong way that you can place them because it is going to be pretty random. For the original piece that I did 7 around and then 1 in the middle. And that's what it looks like. So 7 around and then 1 in the middle. You don't have to place them exactly or evenly apart. It could be pretty random. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and place my very first tentacle right over here. And I'm going to be working along the second row of the bottom part. So this is the first round and this is the second one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook and I'm just going to go in through a random stitch like that. I'm going to grab my yarn that I've already made a slip knot for, and I'm going to just pull it through. And now it's going to be pretty easy from here. Now that you've pulled it through, we're just going to go ahead and do chains. You can make your tentacle as long as you'd like. For my original piece, I did 15 single crochets, and you can make them tighter if you want, which is what I'm doing. So I'm going to just do about 15 for the tentacle. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And once you have your 15, go ahead and snip off the yarn. I would prefer snipping it off a little longer than how you want them to turn out. Like for this one, these ones are really short, but cut them long so at the end you can even them out and then cut them all together so they're all the same size. So again, cut this a little long, and there you have your very first tentacle. And you also have this little strand of yarn that's hanging out. You can tuck that in now, or you can tuck it in later. But it's going to get a little messy once you have 8, because if you have 8 of these hanging out, it's going to look really wonky. Anyway, we're just going to go ahead and repeat that again. Go ahead and make a slip knot, and find whatever place you want your tentacle to be. I'll go ahead and choose over here. I'm going to grab the slip knot, pull it through, and I'm going to once again do a chain of 15. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then I'm going to snip off some yarn and pull it through. Go ahead and repeat that 8 times. And again, the placement doesn't matter. It can be wherever you'd like it to be. And I will go ahead and meet you when I'm done. Okay, and I'm back. I've just done my 8 tentacles, and I have not tucked in any of the loose strands of yarn. But as you can see, there are a lot. If you want, you can leave it like this because I guess it does still look like a squid, but I'm just going to go ahead and tuck these loose strands of yarn in. And again, you can use a darning needle if you want to. It's probably one of the easier options, or you can use your hook if you don't have a darning needle. So again, just going to go through a random side of the squid, and then I'm going to pull the yarn through the stitch like so. And I have to do that a few times because the yarn gets stuck in the polyfill inside. So I'm gonna do that one more time and then take my hook out. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do the rest off camera, and I will go ahead and show you what that looks like. Okay, I've gone ahead and tucked in the loose strands of yarn, and now all we have to do is we're going to take the tentacles, we're going to find the ends of them, kind of even them out a little bit, and then we are going to snip off the excess yarn. Don't cut so close to where we started crocheting because then it will become undone. So you want to keep like an inch distance, I would recommend. And we're just going to cut that off like so. And there we have our little squid or octopus. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see another video of any crochet tutorial, please go ahead and let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to make the video as soon as I can. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!